Okay, well, boys and girls, I wanted to talk a little bit about um, 5 terms here. So I just finished a tutoring session with the student, and he asked, what's the difference between a protagonist and an antagonist? And then he asked me, what is the difference between the climax of a story, falling action, and the resolution? Okay, so I'm here to give you some direction on this. So let's take a look here. True or false? If you're watching this video, pause the video after I ask this question. Is the protagonist always a hero? Is the antagonist always a villain? Think about that. Well, in most stories, it is the case that um, sorry, don't want to make you dizzy, that the protagonist is a hero. However, in a story, and I'm trying to think of an example here, in which the protagonist is evil or villainous, let's say the protagonist is a bank robber, then the antagonist is going to be the opposite or a hero. All right, so think about the word protagonist. Pro means for, doesn't mean hero. So if I'm a bad guy and I'm the focus of the story, then anybody who opposes me is automatically a hero. Okay? It goes in opposites. Now, on the flip side, if the protagonist is a hero, then the antagonist probably has to be a villain. And you'll see when we actually look at these definitions. So come with me to the definition world. Protagonist, I put this in my own words. I looked online and I simplified this on paper and then I put in my own words because that's the best way to learn. Even though I'm a teacher, right? I should know this already. And let me pause this. I'm sorry for the yellow color of the video here. Um, I'm going to try something. Display settings. Okay. That's a little bit better. Okay. All right. Protagonist, the character whose decisions and actions determine the plot events of the story. He or she is usually a hero, but not always. He or she undergoes change. So their decisions, their actions determine what happens in the story. In fact, when you write a story, and I've written hundreds, I always start with the character, what they want. And that will tell me what the plot is going to be, not the other way around. I don't think of situations happening and then figure out my characters. Because every story, by definition, is about what a character wants. Now, watch this. If you just have a character that wants something, goes after it, you don't have a story. You don't have a story until you have an antagonist. Why? Because a story, by definition, has to have conflict. Otherwise, there's no point in watching it. You wonder, is this guy going to win the boxing match? Is he going to lose? And if he wins, is he going to win the love of his life, Adrian? Is she going to marry him? Right? Okay. The antagonist, now think ant means against. Ant does not mean evil. If you are against a bad guy, you're not bad. You're a hero. So antagonist is the character or force. Oh, so it can be a tornado, it can be a hurricane, it could be an animal, it could be a human, it could be the character themselves, their inner self doubt. The character or force whose opposition to the protagonist causes the main conflict of the story. You see that? Without the protagonist going after his goal and the antagonist opposing him, you have no story. And as these two are fighting, it goes and it escalates until the point of climax, which is the final battle. Okay, we'll get to that. How most often a villain or evil. However, when opposing an evil or villainous protagonist may be the hero. Let's look at climax of the conflict. The big turning point or most exciting part of the story, it's the point where the main character faces their biggest challenge. You don't know what's going to happen in the climax until the end when there's falling action. In the movie Rocky, it's when Rocky and Apollo Creed are fighting and they go 15 rounds. That's the climax. But the moment they stop fighting, you have falling action because they've done everything they can do. The falling action is the story starts to calm down after the climax. It shows what happens right after the biggest moment and helps wrap up loose ends. So it'll be the time in which Rocky is going back to his side of the boxing ring and he's looking for Adrian. Okay. The match is finished. Apollo Creed and his is in his corner. He's getting, stitches for his banged up face or whatever. Rocky only knows one thing. He wants to find his girlfriend, Adrian. Then the resolution is the final, it's where there's closure. It's the end of the story where the main problem is fixed. It gives a sense of closure. Now, you may say to me, wait a minute, I'm confused. I thought the resolution was at the climax when he was fighting Apollo Creed. Wasn't that the resolution? No, because the movie Rocky was not about whether or not he was going to win or lose a boxing match. It was really about going the distance. So it's not enough in this particular story to know who wins, who loses. The real resolution of the story is, has Rocky gone the distance in the eyes of Adrian? Has he gained her respect? Has he shown her that he did it for love? Is she persuaded that his going the distance was because he loves her and wants to spend the rest of his life with her? Okay? So that's the part where she says, I love you, Rocky. He says, I love you, Adrian. And we assume they're going to get married. Okay? That's it. Okay? So, uh, if you want more, if you want different videos, you want more information, you're stuck on your writing, you're stuck on reading, you're not sure how to get out of those B plus or A minus grades, and you want to be the top student in your class, reach out. I have online group tutoring, and I also give students an assessment of their writing and their reading and an acceleration of their goals. And that forms the basis of my online group tutoring. Okay, so there's a lot more. And look in the description of this video in the comments for how to contact me. I have a Facebook page. And if you want to know about the tutoring, just give me a call or direct message me, and then we can chat for a couple minutes. It may be that tutoring may or may not work out for you according to the schedule, or just don't have the time. I have plenty of tools to help you with reading and writing, and this will give you the advantage to get to the next level. Maybe you're already there, but you're spending a lot of your time getting those A's and you want to spend less time. Go deeper without overly spending time. Okay? I can help you with that.